see a Brood.
And it's very surprising they did not ban the Broodmother. If they didn't ban it, and you know, when you're a team that runs Silencer position 1 a lot, you know about the Broodmother. There must be a team you scrimmed or faced in an official match that ran Broodmother and destroyed you, because Silencer is useless versus Brood at any stage of the game. So if they let the Broodmother through, and I'm pretty sure FNG did it on purpose, then they had a plan. So they're probably going to run a Silencer mid, I would assume, or some aggressive tri-lane or something like this, and they had the Darkseer ready, or whatever they want versus the Brood.
It is pretty useless, but there's one single nice thing about Silencer against Brood. That is in the mid-game, sort of, where Broodmother is pressuring your tier 3. If you just have an Aghanims on Silencer and ulti, you can always make her stuck in the trees, so it's easy to catch her out if you know where she is. And that's the only nice part, and I'm really stretching for that.
Here we see the second option that you have when you face a pushing lineup or a Chen lineup. So either you anti-push, or you have this pick where you can just run at them, you know, and just destroy them in one go. And that's definitely a lineup that can do it. You know, the Naga Darkseer Shaker combo. We saw it yesterday, the Shaker Darkseer combo from Vich Gaming. They also had a Winter Wyvern to make it even harder for Cloud9 to face, but it can be very, very scary to face that.
They were so coordinated as well. Ice execution on Darkseer was beautiful. Oh, Merlini, what do you think about this? The Brood AM coming out.
I mean, this is like split push. They want to take small fights with the Chen, try to distract Virtus.Pro, and the other two lanes will be the Brood and the Anti-Mage.
This is easily a Secret lineup. This is what Secret, you know, we all got used to this type of lineup, where they just dominate lanes and they just play around you, force issue everywhere, split push a lot.
VP kind of needs a last pick that has to do a lot of carry work, and probably might even want a hero that works with the Iron Shell or the Darkseer more in their combination of heroes.
It's going to be a very tough game for Virtus.Pro.
I mean, they can maybe get away with like an Ember Spirit. It's a little risky, but Darkseer plus Ember can actually hold up. I don't know. There's not too many that I can think of that are good versus Brood, and
yeah, the lanes would be a very big issue though. So.
The lineup of Complexity is not a comeback lineup. This requires really good execution. If they actually fail the first rotations and lose the lanes, I don't think they can ever come back with a lineup like this.
I'm not going to count them out actually on that. I think Broodmother and Anti-Mage you can play around a lot. And when you finally have to push high ground, you have Winter Wyvern and the Queen of Pain. If AM just ever gets to his meta style, then they can always make a late game comeback. But it depends how bad the early game is.
I would agree. I think even though they might fail a couple of ganks early, but they can still always fall back to the late game high ground defense with the Wyvern and the Quap, probably with the Aghanim. So they can definitely buy time with their lineup.
I mean, yeah, Chen and Brood are just so good at delaying the game, getting anti-mage farm.
Yeah, this is really difficult last pick for VP.
Yeah, well, what are we looking at?
I'm not sure. This is very tough. Virtus.Pro pick is, I don't know. Do you have any predictions?
I don't know, but what do you think about Bloodseeker here?
I'd like to think it's Silencer mid.
Oh yeah, Bloodseeker's pretty good.
Bloodseeker is probably the best, that I can
Good versus Quap and AM. Okay.
Okay.
So it might not be a Silencer mid. It might be a Lina mid, or Illidan. Okay, then it is. And
how about Silencer off lane? You want to have the Darkseer versus the Brood.
Yep, that's what they're doing.
Thank you very much, gentlemen. We head into game 2 of our first series of the day. Complexity stand on the verge of a top 8 finish at the International 5. A jump of $600,000 on the line as we head down to our commentary team for game 2.
Thank you very much. Ready? Yes, we are back here in the Kia Arena. So close to the stage and so close to Complexity being eliminated twice during that first game. That looks so VP's way, and then Complexity, they swing it back.
And VP swung it back, and then Complexity swung it back.
Yeah,
and
there were a lot of swings.
It was never swung back again. So,
no.
Yeah.
No, we hit the ding by that point.
They managed to bring it home in that game. And, you know, if you're Virtus.Pro, you're definitely disappointed after that game, but you just try to focus on the task ahead of you. You can't keep thinking too much about previous games. Obviously, it's not really going to help you too much. You analyze your mistakes, you move on. And VP obviously getting some of their absolutely classic key heroes here. The DK Phobos Darkseer, the G Silencer / Illidan Silencer.
It really feels like the comfort zone for Virtus.Pro more than anything else. But at the same time, Complexity, I kind of feel it's ironic that they run the anti-mage with this lineup, considering if we look back to game number 2 of Complexity versus EG, when they tried to run the Chen, they tried to run this like DK split push kind of lineup, it was the anti-mage of fear that just like snapped them back again. So now they have this investment for push, investment for split, but they have the anti-mage to take them into the late game. And Virtus.Pro, like with the Lina pickup, like she's nice and aggressive, but is that really going to be enough if Complexity can do enough damage, buy enough space, and then just get a really farmed up anti-mage? Do VP have what it takes to kill the anti-mage?
I think they do if they beat him a bit in lane. Laguna Blade on the Lina with Aghanim Scepter, and of course Silencer with all the pure damage from Glaives of Wisdom is actually really scary for anti-mage, and itemizing against it can be pretty difficult if G gets farmed. So I think Virtus.Pro do have tools here, and more than anything, if they play it right, I think they're going to win this lane. Like, anti-mage Chen Wyvern to me sounds really weak on paper unless the Chen gets some really good creeps and gets some great aggression out. But one of his major camps is blocked. It's possible Naga will go in and try to body block the other one. That would be a little bit risky now, though. So I guess Z-Freak will have access to one of his camps, the close one to the mid lane. And maybe VP don't actually even run it as an aggressive trial lane. For now, it is a dual lane, but they're anticipating this and sending the anti-mage top against Darkseer, which, you know, generally is an okay lane for AM, but I think Darkseer likes it a bit more when he is in the safe lane position. It's a mid Brood.
Yep, we're going to throw him in towards the mid. Sai did it earlier in the in TI5, and Fly also wants to add as much pressure to God as possible, but now Lil comes in with a fissure, but Fly still having that Arctic Burn, flies over the top, and Mumianda right in the face of God, beating him down, and Phobos doesn't want a bar of this. In fact, they just instantly move Phobos in the middle lane, sending now God towards the top, but this is still buying time for Animage to farm up, and Swindamelons is doing the safe lane Queen of Pain, even though it's going to be a very hard lane up against both Illidan as well as Naga. Everything has just been turned around on lanes.
This is going to be a lane swap game. This is the lane matchups that Complexity really do not want. They don't want Brood versus Darkseer, and they don't want Anti-Mage versus Silencer. G can really bully him out of the lane. Sure, he's got a poor man's shield and some tangos, but it's only going to last for so long. He's actually going to put on the aggression here a bit. This is not a good exchange.
That's a very over-aggressive push and takes so much damage. There's a simple glaive, and then you go in for that last word into a fissure. And you're right, it really is in the lane for an Animage, but he's still hanging around. They're not going to switch it up quickly.
In addition to that, we also have the bottom lane with Queen of Pain. You know, Queen of Pain Lina matchup generally considered to be favored by Lina. And she also has a Naga with her, so Swindlemelons is actually just getting zoned out here by FNG. Refuses to blink, and as a result is taking like hundreds of damage here. I'm not sure what the idea is. Just blink.
Is he trying to waste the time of FNG? He's still got a salve, so if he's going to use the salve, then it would make sense. But he doesn't. He uses tangos instead.
How valuable is your 60 mana? Is it worth more than 200 health? Is the question. I would say no.
Could be crazy worth. Man, Complexity actually were even using so much mana. That Observer Ward, which is down on the bottom lane, watching over, like, yeah, right there. It's the one that Animage did. He used Blink to the point he was completely out of mana. Put the Observer Ward down so he could see VP walking in, and then went all the way back to base to get his mana up. Now Swindle, real trouble. The Blink, he waits again as long as he possibly can before using it while on top lane. The fissure comes down, but it's an Animage with the nukes. They can have enough. It's Chen having his first presence in the game. Z-Freak helps spill the first blood for Complexity.
This is crucial. This is what Z-Freak needs to do. This is the lane they want to win. They can't win mid. They realistically possibly can win bottom, but they need to do it very, very well with the Chen, and kind of requires a little bit of an overextension from VP, but this lane is definitely winnable. And they get the kill on the Shaker, not the highest priority target as G is still farming, but it's something.
It is. And it actually allows Z-Freak just to move into the Dire jungle, so his movement now towards middle lane, Phobos has to be careful. At the same time, we see our lane switch up. So Animage comes towards the mid, and we'll see Muminda move up to the top lane.
It's going to be joining Fly up there. And of course, this is a lane matchup that VP don't want, so I'm imagining we'll see a double or triple swap here. How many times have they swapped lanes?
Z-Freak. Oh, the Observer Ward around the corner. He's not in range for the Troll Trap. So he couldn't hold Lil in position and then go for the clap. He doesn't really have mana for the nuke anyway.
He could definitely not have killed him, but he's going to counter the ward. Now FNG is going to rotate up here.
They got to be careful. Mumianda's in the neighborhood, and Z-Freak getting rip-tied up. He's still got trolls as well as Hellbears, and with the fissure actually keeping them away, God couldn't get there in time. In fact, here's another lane switch up. God's going to come to the mid lane up against the anti-mage.
Yep. As expected, and AM's like, nope. So they're going to put in the Brood.
It's like we're playing musical chairs in this game. Everyone wants the best matchup they can possibly get. The Sentry Wards are still down in mid lane. So We're back to where we started. FNG, Fly's going to deny in the room, but with the ensnare, we'll be able to get the follow-up. Riptide God doesn't have mana for this. Like, he throws out a couple of glaives, but he's only got mana for 2 more anyway.
Yeah, Phobos is back in mid.
It really does feel like one of those...
You know, I said it was going to be a game of lane swaps. I was not expecting this many in 4 minutes, but I mean, it's understandable. They want to dodge these particular lanes, and the teams will just be running after each other.
The thing is, one consistent lane is bottom lane, which is now going to be initiated on Illidan. Doesn't have level 6, but the Chen moving in. Z-Freak just comes through the river, and that's going to be a kill. Another one going the way of Complexity. Swindle Melons, he's the only man that didn't move. Illidan the same.
Z-Freak is just the Joker in this mess, you know? They're just constantly swapping around the lanes, but that really favors Chen, because he's the one hero they don't know where is. And when all the heroes are using TPs to rotate lanes, they can't TP back up the bottom lane, for example. So Illidan is in a very awkward position and can't really get any help.
And so how does VP stabilize?
I don't know. I think they're okay on farm, actually. I mean, it's not that bad for them.
For me, though, I'm looking towards a different point. I'm looking to the point where Chen is able to get a bigger army up, and then you start seeing towers being forced in. You're already spending so much time switching around the lanes, your money's not going to be looking that great, at least for items, because you keep burning 100 gold.
Well, so does Complexity, so...
True.
I guess I could see that the Chen is the one benefiting the most from this, because he's not using that money. But at the end of the day, VP actually have pretty good wave clear. They have the Dragon Slave, Fissure, Riptide, and of course, Ion Shells to just run out. I really don't think it's going to be that easy for Complexity to push the towers early, and that's what that gets me a little bit worried for them, because their anti-mage has 15 CS minute 6. That's really low. And how is Brood going to have a major impact when Darkseer just keeps tracing her movement and just following around all the time? Moon might have to take a different approach in this game.
Speaking of which, again, we do the turn. For us, that is going to be a lot of money if you can stay with these Spiderlings.
He's trying to guess their movement with the haster.
He's guessing very, very well.
Some of them
and, well, Mumianda will show himself, but Lil's also in the neighborhood. The Spiderlings can start to annoy this Earthshaker quite a hell of a lot.
FNG has a sentry down.
Yep, they see him, but he can't get close enough.
Yes, he can.
He's just on the edge, and okay, well, with a Fissure, he can. Into the ensnare, Phobos puts up the wall, the Iron Shell, and Broodmother tries TP out. The Sun's going to be there, back behind the tower. He will not survive. Silence again will get the +2 intelligence.
Why did his TP stop?
Yeah, there's no Earthshock. He must have stopped it himself.
It wasn't Aftershock. He must have just stopped it, thinking that, oh, I'm going to get Aftershocked. I have to run away from that stuff. Maybe. He thought his TP wouldn't come through. I don't know.
Either that or he felt the damage was going to be too much, but hanging around longer, he took more damage.
I think he would have died in the fountain anyway, to Last Word. It was cast pretty early in the TP animation, so probably wouldn't have made a difference, but still a strange play there.
Oh, first kill for Virtus.Pro. They have now, however, abandoned the bottom lane. So you're running a Chen in the Radiant jungle who's up to level 5, picked up some early arcane boots, and you've still got this Queen of Pain whose effect we haven't seen at all. Swindle is walking around with a TP skull, 4-point Scream, 1-point Sonic Wave. So we're going for more teamfight build, and well, he might need to get there in a moment. Middle lane, Anti-Mage put under FNG. Not having the easiest time, neither is Lil, but Illidan with a follow-up stun. Anti-Mage needs to blink, can't do it. Laguna Blade will connect, but FNG won't get out this one free, and now in comes Swindle. No mana for the Sonic Wave. He's short, but Illidan, actually no, the Fissure, keeping Complexity out. And Illidan will barely survive this. He's got 5 1 charges and tangos. You'll have some extra life to stand on the lane.
G gets matched up against the Brood. Nope. He's going to get away. And guess who's back up there? Darkseer will be taking care of the lane once more. And this is just, you know, Phobos is out farming everyone. If you look at the last hits, I don't know how many of these are Spiderlings. It might be like 10 of them. He's still just finding more farm than...
He's still got the highest net worth. So if they're Spiderlings or not, he's still got 3 point, almost 2K net worth, which is above that of Illidan. And in fact, you've got to get to the 4th position on the net worth board before you even hit a Complexity player, and that's the Queen of Pain, who basically had a free lane.
This is a very good rotation from Complexity, by the way, sending up that Queen of Pain to the top lane so that it forces away the Darkseer for a little bit.
So they're almost trying to just force the TPs. Okay, Mumianda's having a bit of a hard time getting that Iron Shell Spiderling away from him. Yeah, that's not the great... No, not next to you. Not next to you.
Oh, he tried to target out the Spiderling, sends away the wrong one, and loses like 5 spiders in almost his own life. But they get the tower. That's what they came for.
Yes, they get the tower, but they also need to find those Michael skills.
Yeah.
So the tier 1 tower to drop. For VP, They're going to add a little bit of pressure down the bottom lane. It's not going to really come to much unless it's just a one hero TP in. And Swindle's actually been sent all the way back to base so he can TP back out again. But Complexity, okay, so you take the first tower. Do you now just establish a ward perimeter inside the Dire jungle to make it so the Broodmother takes over that? Is that the goal?
It should be. This is how they need to play the Brood. Farm the enemy jungle, make sure you have access to your own for the anti-mage later on, and just drain the map for resources. I still don't think Complexity are in a position
So in the bottom, Animage jumps in, and God, the Global Silence will allow him to TP out of here. The extra stun on the Animage, the damage, it's just not enough.
Wow, very nice escape there. And Little, again, he is so clutch with his Earthshaker and multiple other support heroes. He has got a lot of fame in the last few months for some incredible Visage and Rubik plays in particular, but his Shaker is another one of his great heroes, and showing why the perfect timing on both stuns there. Barely saving G.
Illidan's got to be careful. Mumianda's got a big army of Spirelings, and they actually get the curse off on him. Lina instantly dropping down. And Phobos trying to do the defense. But he knows now he's got to be a little bit more careful. These spawn Spirelings up at level 4. Just start chip away at his life. FNG moves forward with a Riptide. Again, all these Spirelings staying very grouped up together. And Phobos, it's like free gold right now. And he does to micro out the one Iling Spireling. So that's going to be your tier 1 tower chipped away. And we'll both Swindle as well as Fly sitting behind Mumianda. It's a difficult time to defend. Meanwhile, up on top lane, the Chen's pushing the tier 2 tower. Down to half-life, forces the TP out from Illidan, so he has to back up. And on bottom lane, Animage trying to farm under his tower, but the Silencer doesn't have Global Silence this time around. And Lil's still got no way to close the distance between himself and the Animage quick enough to get the kill. So I'm wondering what God's trying to achieve down here.
Dire's middle tower has fallen.
He's hoping that AM will go in for the farm and that they can get Last Word and Fissure off. Still, yeah, I still don't think they kill him without Global. There's just no way. But he could just stand there safely and farm the lane. And as Complexity have taken 2 towers now, they're starting to get some pretty good map control here and a somewhat significant lead at this point. Anti-Mage, however, is not... He's the missing piece of the puzzle right now. He's the one they're trading space for, but he's not, he's not really getting the space they want.
This is either Roshan timing, or it's going to be the tier 1 tower on bot. Complexity around this time in the EG game did something very, very similar. And Fly's going to put down the Observer Ward. This at least lets him see FNG, but he's going to get patched up by Roshan in order to do it. This looks like the Chen smoke gank doesn't work either, but Broodmother's having an absolute party on top lane. No one from Virtus.Pro wants to be up there. And you might have harassed down Animage a little bit, but the pressure which will be coming in from Z-Freak shortly, as well as Fly, is going to be so high. And in fact, Fly is just going to embrace up the Animage. Doesn't have a ring of regen, that Battle Fury is still a way off. But it doesn't look like it'll even matter. Not when you got something like a Winter Wyvern sitting behind you.
And you can tell Zizzy's read on the situation based on his skill build. It's very unusual to see AMs put multiple points into Spell Shield early. Usually you get 1 point, you go like the 1-1-1-1 build with lots of stats, and then you get Blink at 8, 9, 10. He's got an extra point in Spell Shield over stats, really pressured a lot by the magical damage of the Silencer and the Lina and Shaker in this game, and of course the Iron Shells too. It's not a nice game to be an anti-mage in as they're going in on low bottom.
Yeah, Lil cursed up, and the Mana Void trying to actually cancel the animation of Earthshaker, and this will be the last attack coming in from Fly to ensure the kill. Actually put the Animage under, so he came back up. Meanwhile on top lane, Swindermelon's actually jumped in with the Broodmother to find the kill over on the Lina, back behind the trees, but they keep the fight going on bottom lane. FNG still no level 6, and in fact going to get Troll trapped up. The Centaur's going to stop. He can actually hold FNG there, wait until after the mirror image to get it done, and into the Tornado. Well, they can at least hold Fly there, while Animage keeping Phobos out, so he cannot come and join the rest of his teammates. The Silence on Z-Freak, not a happy place to be, but FNG dropping too low. The Spirelings spawn inside of him, and in fact even deeper in there. Swindle's about to come in from behind, the Echo Slam from Lil, but Mumianda's just way too strong. You've got a Queen of Pain coming in from the side, blinking a Sonic Wave. The Earthshaker's going to drop, and they're going to get another one. Goblin the retreat, out of mana in a moment. He's got 1 charges, and maybe he can keep this Animage back, but no, it's not going to work. They blink forward, and they find God. 9 for 2. Phobos looking for some extra stuff. He's got 1 charge Swindle in a moment, but the Lina, the Slave, just able to reach him in time. The tier 1 tower is dying right now to the Value Skeleton Warriors. And in fact, it's the Broodmother spidling, the one spidling that gets him.
Wow, Complexity are just flat out outmaneuvering VP right now. They keep engaging, disengaging, using both Cold Embrace and Chen's heal very well, and VP just don't have the damage they think they do, however, so they overextend quite a few times in that fight, and multiple kills going Complexity's way as a result. At the same time, Antimage did not die and got another assist on the kill on the Silencer, I do believe. Yes, it must have been the Silencer. Yes, it was. So he's starting to make progress. He's got the Perseverance now. This is still going to be a very late Battle Fury, but with the way the rest of the game is going, I think Complexity are perfectly fine. They've got a 6,000 gold lead right now, and you know, VP's game plan just not really coming together. Their movements are just not as coordinated and as good as in the first game. It's something we often see when you suffer a devastating loss. A lot of teams lose a bit of their communication and teamwork for the second game, and it's really unfortunate. Of course, you would love to isolate that problem and not have it, but it's humans playing. At least I think so.
Fairly certain this isn't a bot game. But Virtus.Pro, you're right, they need to find something back here. Like get some kind of great kill that can give you momentum, and Swindle is maybe going to be a good target. They'll ensnare him up. He has to wait this one up the wall as well with a blink forward, and God, he's there, but the damage dealt to Queen of Pain is not enough to find the kill. Phobos running after him, but then again, blink off cooldown once the silent wears off, and there it is. Swindle just slips away to safety. And they needed that. They needed the space in FNG only now that he's in range of the creep wave. In fact, they're sharing it enough, but he still has enough experience for it. He finds level 6, but Lil and Illidan, they are in a world of hurt. As Lil, there's your jump in. They don't need to get off any kind of curse. No Echo Slam. In fact, they do get the curse over on the Lina. The Fidger is actually keeping him out until Animage basically skips himself over. The Spylings, the Centaur, the Golems, the Mana Void. Everything you need. Complexity have it, including the kitchen sink, which they continue just to throw at Virtus.Pro.
Yeah, Illidan should have just got the hell out of there. It was a 4-on-2, and he tried to help the Shaker, who had like absolutely no hope of escaping, and as a result, it's an extra kill for Complexity. Another one going the way of Swindle. There's another 2 assists for Antimage, and you know, it's just assists, but all of this gold starts adding up. They get a tier 2 as well, and all of a sudden we might see Zizzy with a sub-20 Battle Fury if this pace is kept up. And with the whole map under control for Complexity, I don't see any way Virtus.Pro will prevent him from just almost free farming with that Battle Fury.
It's like the only way Virtus.Pro can get this game back is no, that doesn't even work. Because
okay.
I had a thought, and then I'm like, wait, no, there's actually not. There's not like the animes that EG had. A Complexity of being in this exact position, almost around this exact timing, and then their biggest hurdle was getting up and taking tier 3 tower into racks. The Virtus.Pro, their high ground defense is wonderful, and Complexity blink the Queen of Pain underneath the tier 4 tower, maybe then, like, Virtus.Pro can get a couple of kills and they might get some momentum, but there's no big core to try and contest up against the Anti-Mage later on, or that can deal with the Queen of Pain's disable as well. That's where my concern comes in. At least you've got the Broodmother. Okay, look, missed timing. The Yule Scepter and the Light Strike away with Laguna Blade. They'll still find the kill over on Mumianda, but it's again, like, it's showing the cracks in VP's focus when something like that happens.
To be fair, though, it is a pretty common mistake that you have 2 heroes with such a good engage, and it's like, that can happen to any team at any point. But I do agree, like, in combination with the other things we've seen in this game, they do look a little bit nervous about this game. Understandable. Yeah. They have to deliver.
Okay, can God actually die to this Chen on top lane? You've got double stuns, you've got triple stuns, but the global silence, none of the Chen creeps work. They actually have to let him go.
If he doesn't global there, Chen and the Broodlings just kill him off easily. They could have probably killed him 1.5 times with perfect micro there. And Z-Freak has been delivering this game. He's 4-on-3, he's been very involved in kills. Great job at split pushing and controlling the map as well. At G with the right play.
Can Complexity hold their nerve? They've still got more towers to get through. Swindle almost with that Orchid. They got control 10 over on, well, I'd say Lina, but she's got that Yule Scepter available and building into an Aghanim, so the damage is starting to arrive a lot more for Virtus.Pro. I'm still worried though, like, God with this build as well. Like, Rod of Atos first item Silencer. Like,
it's Virtus.Pro standard build. It's actually really good.
What's the 4 then? What makes it great?
Silencer, obviously, you don't necessarily need a disable on him early because you have global silence to just prevent the enemy from casting their spells. You ATOS them up, so you have a lot of slow. The stats on it are incredible for him. It's been buffed a couple of times, so it's 30 intelligence, 350 health. It's a lot for its price. And it's just a very good build-up item for him. He can go into what we usually see from Virtus.Pro is either an Assault Cuirass, sometimes BKB, sometimes the Hex. And you just know that extra 350 health is going to help you.
Song of the Siren's going to come off here from FNG, Fly, and Z-Freak. They don't know Fly's there until now. The Glimmer Cape's going to be revealed. And Illidan, where's your stun? Phobos backing him back in. They don't get the stun effect. Illidan getting controlled up by Swindle. Z-Freak still so low. We got the Mega Hand and God off. Hence the life came back up so quickly. And Illidan with the Echo Slam. They got enough damage here, Virtus.Pro. You got the anime trapped on the cliff side. Dylan Matter behind, taking our leader from the perch. Lil barely surviving from the shatter down to 60 life as Fly trying to Glimmer Cape himself away back behind the tower. In fact, now he's looking over towards Phobos. Doesn't actually have that Arctic burn just yet, so he can't just run straight up. Now you'll see him, and the damage, it is not enough. And he has no stuns available.
How often do you see an anti-mage hiding in the trees and then casting a Mana Void? Like, that is a very rare play there. That was a pretty funny and a pretty important ultimate to get out as well. Illidan looked like he was going to die really early in that fight, gets the self-heals off, gets healed from his wand, manages to turn his entire combo onto Swindle, and they get a 2-for-2 trade there, which I think they can definitely be happy with. They're behind, looked like a great engage for Complexity. Well, VP are certainly staying in this game for now.
The Naga illusion is going to not only reveal the fact that Broodmother's trying to bring down Roshan, but he's trying to be really sneaky by getting a very early Desolator over on this Broodmother. So tower pushing galore, but not normally what you see. Like, I know Desolator is great. I'm a big advocate for the item as well. But is this the item build you want to see for a Broodmother? Should not be worried about team fights or for something like Necrobooks?
It allows him to solo out heroes really well in the split push. He can apply minus 14 armor right now by just using these two items. Allows him to solo kill very, very easily. But if Virtus.Pro are good at defensively...
top lane. He's starting up right now over on Swindle. Can't get the stun. Laguna Blade, the damage. It's enough. The solo kill for Illidan over on Queen of Pain. A huge amount of gold for it as well. 635 for his efforts.
Very important for Illidan that Hand of God is on cooldown. I'm not sure if he took it into account. It's still on cooldown for another 40, so he might have remembered the timer there. Else Swindle survives that, and you know, maybe it's still worth the combo of Illidan to just force him back to base, but getting the kills obviously way, way better. Getting a 635 bonus for that one.
It's really starting to increase the speed of that Aghanim Scepter, and once it's got that up and running, you're going to be able to pop a lot of players over on Complexity, and maybe that's what we had to look for Virtus.Pro. How do they make this comeback? They've still got great teamfight control. You got Darkseer, Silencer as well as Naga. Like, it's silences as well as sleep. And then the Earthshaker, no Blink Dagger yet, but with all that control, Lil can just walk himself in.
Yep. Speaking of which...
And their smoke's not going to break. Moon Meander backs up at the perfect time. His web's going to come off cooldown right now, and with the Spirelings actually catching out FNG, well, they're going to get farmed up a little bit. He does actually throw down the web.
They thought Brood might have been in there. They only saw the Spiderlings, but... he goes on the left. Virtus.Pro right now, they waste a smoke, essentially. They get a little bit of information, but that's not what they were looking for there. And they have to go back to base now, because Zizzy is going to be doing his thing now. The Battle Fury split pushing the top lane.
Z-Freak needs to walk away. That's Darab's Overlord is right on top. Illidan, follow-up stun with the Laguna Blade. Insurance and the kill, and 50 gold now for that Aghanim Scepter for Lina.
And this is perfect for them. They needed to go top to defend, and they find a kill on the way, so even better. Gonna find a little bit of, probably gonna counterward this one. So pretty likely that they will be looking for it here, and they will. The gem on DK Phobos, they scouted out with a courier. And now they're gonna push out top, and I think they'll give Lil some farm priority now to get that Blink Dagger. It's gonna be the key item that is going to keep them in the game later on. And you know, I keep saying keep them in the game. They're not that far back, and they keep the level. They keep the level of advantage for Complexity pretty much at a stable 5,000 right now. Just, I feel like their strategy is gonna be really strong later on. Let's also not forget, of course, Darkseer with the wall can get a copy of that anti-mage, which that illusion hits super hard. It's got really good agility. It's of course got the mana break. Can easily turn on anti-mage himself or go for another key target such as the Queen of Pain with the right micro in the fight.
It's almost at that moment where you start looking towards the wire to control up the Darkseer. But you've also got Lina running around on the field. Lil, Swindle jumps in. Sonic Wave's gonna miss. Well off target. Now Lil prepares himself. He's gonna look for the totem stunner with the timing from FNG. In fact, maybe with the Echo Slam, the back hit Swindle! Oh my!
Okay, they wanted him dead. That was 3 ultimates in a vacuum.
Whew. Yep, that sends a message.
Yep. And I can understand that G wants to play it safe there and use the global. You could say, if the timing on the vacuum is perfect, she can't blink, but it's a pretty difficult spell to time perfectly with the Song of the Siren. And better safe than sorry, they're using both spells just in case it goes wrong. It's going to give them a tier 1 tower rather in the mid lane here as well for Illidan. He times it right. Oh, good glyph. He might just let them have the deny.
Cardi might get it as well. Meanders move forward.
He got
and the
it.
tower. Yeah, she takes it and runs away. And that's really good money now coming in for the Earthshaker. He's got his Blink Dagger up and running. And that Echo Slam, which we saw from the Earthshaker, is also another upside. Swindle could not get away because the stun's instant. And that was the guarantee. The downside is it's on cooldown now when he picks up the Blink Dagger. So Complexity do have an opening while that Global Silence is down. And they're going to try and do it. They smoke up. Now, Roshan is still alive. And that's a big army of smoked units moving in there. But again, the timing from FNG is right. He's moving the Naga illusions down to have a look into the pit. And the rest of VP is coming along with him. But they see a couple of the Sparlings, they get rid of them.
If you saw the whip get placed, they know at least the Brute is here. That's a pretty big tell. But they're trying to just wait out the illusions of Naga here and then maybe go for it. And of course, this is another benefit of Moon Meander's build with the Deso as well as Medallion, even on the Radiant side, of course, has access to that Roshan together with Chen. Can kill us off very fast, but
They're actually de-warding it
Chen
out.
giving away the position once again.
I think Z-Freak realized that he would have been visible for just a split moment outside the pit because the smoke broke before he got inside Roshan's pit. And they're going to smoke again. This is what Complexity did last time. They realized they weren't going to have a really good fight, so they actually try and turn it around and get into better positions while VP just have this big question mark about what's happening inside the pit. Illidan moves forward now. In fact, Lil with a fissure. They find Z-Freak. Laguna blades a fireball and then just pop the Chen straight away. Meanwhile, further up, God, the back will not be able to save him. Not enough space to stop Queen of Pain from bursting into the silencer. So a 1-for-1 trade-off as we now have ourselves a quick pause from FNG. But 14-10, a tense moment around Roshan. You do have Global Silence back up again, but that Song of the Siren is still down for 33 seconds. Virtus.Pro don't have the control. But I suppose the longer Complexity drag it out, the better it is for VP.
I think they have what they need, as long as they can get another mirror image in and scout it. If they know how low Roshan is, they can play accordingly. The scary thing is playing in the dark. But they have the heroes that can check it out. And of course, Shaker still has Echo Slam available. It was not used for the kill on Chen. And Darkseer is very tanky and can just run in front. So here's what's interesting. He has Guardian Greaves, and the best counterplay Complexity has to him right now is to Orchid him with the Quap. He can purge that off with Greaves.
Yep.
And the alternative is, of course, using Winter's Curse. But then they've used Winter's Curse onto... Oh, that is bad news.
I'm hoping it's nothing too serious. We just had written that God feels bad.
Yep. Oh yeah, they can't see it on the screen right now.
Yeah, they go.
That's bad news.
Well, unless we're talking to people who are watching inside of Dota TV, which welcome. There's a lot of people tuning in from all around on all platforms around the world. A lot of Dota. But yeah, that's not a great situation. But Virtus.Pro, they managed to work their way back. Like initially, it really looked like Complexity again. We're going to take tower after tower after tower, but these pickoffs seem to have really worked wonders. Even like getting a solo pickoff on Swindle on that top lane for Illidan. That was huge. So much money. And they kept coming one after the other without Virtus.Pro having to give something back. So they held onto all their gold. You get the Aghanims upgrade, and you realize just how quick you can pick off heroes like, for example, Chen. Like, you still want to throw out the ulti, you still want to have like all that life, and just got popped straight away. So VP can get control during fights so well. But I still wonder the anti-mage factor. He's got Battle Fury, Vlad's, PMS, as well as having the Yasha.
We're at a point when Lina can almost one-shot him with ult. Lina is 450 experience away from 16, and Anti-Mage has 1,000 health right now. So that's just, you know, you press R, win game, right? And they also even have Global to just set it up. But with the Manta style soon coming out for him, he will, of course, be able to dispel Global, which is going to be very important. I still don't know if it's going to cut it. I personally feel like Complexity are a little bit behind in this game, even though they're ahead on gold. Their advantage lies in their towers that they've claimed 2 more of, and slight farm advantage maybe, but I simply don't think the Anti-Mage has enough. And the point when he's going to have a full inventory, it could be too late. So
we actually have the players out of their boxes now, so they are going to be leaving the venue. I said the venue, at least the floor. Just don't walk out completely.
G is sick, we'll play tomorrow.
Yeah, I'm sure we could reschedule that.
Hopefully it's nothing too serious, though.
Yeah.
I seem to recall another tournament when G was feeling very sick while playing. I think it was actually DreamHack, so it seems to be a little bit unfortunate when it comes to LAN events. And we hope he can get a little bit of medical treatment so we can get back into the game sometime soon. But it looks like it is going to be a break for now.
All right. So for now, Complexity and VP. It's still one of these games where Complexity, you're one win away from getting in to the next round. And of course, VP one loss away after the fall of Team Empire yesterday. And now you look at VIP, CIS, their hopes really rest with Virtus.Pro. In a way, they sort of adopted Team Secret as well, as some of their players do come from that area. But it's a rough run for Virtus.Pro. This pause may even work well for them. Maybe they can get their mind back in this and just try and keep the momentum going. For now, we are going to throw it back over to the panel to get their thoughts on the series so far while the players have a break.
Thank you very much, Toby. Yes, back on the panel. What are we thinking so far? Winter, we'll start with you. With regards to the way it's going so far, it looks like Complexity are going to take this.
Yeah, during the draft I said that Complexity might have a stronger lineup early game, but the Anti-Mage will suffer in the lane, so that was actually what was happening. They got a lot of kills, but Anti-Mage was suffering in farm. So they sort of compensated compensate the AM's farm by the other supports having a better time. And going into late game, I'd say the AM might be able to actually carry it if he gets enough time to actually get all his items.
Okay. Yeah. Anyone disagree?
No, every single hero on VP pretty much is a good target for Echoes, or for Mana Void. And the early game, as Winter mentioned, Z-Freak, his ganks on Chen was really good. They got a kill on top as first blood, which Anti-Mage was involved in as well. So despite him not farming, he got something done. And on bottom lane, just before 5-minute mark, they also got a kill with the Chen again. So very useful rotations.
Yeah, and Seb, you've got a little message from a Chen player that came up to see us.
Since the Chen did really well. Shout out to Smith, right? And that's what he would say about Chen, and everyone knows that sentence. You know, everyone that plays pub game knows that sentence.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
so that's what didn't happen that game, and that's why it was so great, and Chen had such a high impact. So yeah. No,
because he ganked mid, he ganked top and bottom instead of mid. That's the only difference.
Instead of mid level 2 and failed. So no. I mean, he played a very spectacular game on Chen, had a very high impact, and Chen is that type of hero where if you actually miss or your first gank, then the game can be really tough.
Yeah, Toby made a great point at the end of the commentary that if Virtus.Pro go, that's it for Europe. All we've got left is Secret now, which is still great, but it's not how this tournament was supposed to go, is it?
No, not really. I'd like to think it wasn't.
I think this game's too late to call. You guys are all favoring Complexity. I'm actually liking VP's lineup going a little bit further. Like the Brood and the Chen fall off pretty hard. Anti-Mage can be dealt with, especially if you have a global silence. If his teammates aren't farmed, they're just all going to die to Echo and vacuum and wall.
I like the positivity.
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah, but they don't have to fight. That's the thing.
Well, how do Complexity push high ground, though?
You push one lane with Brood. You split push with AM in other lane, and the other heroes will be just defending the high ground when you have 5 heroes shuffling yourself into one lane. So they can just always not fight and just delay.
I mean, they're still fighting a decent amount, though, and Lina can just... She already has Ags, so AM's no longer safe.
He's not safe right now, but that could also change because we're 26 minutes into a game. You have taken over most of the map as Complexity. They're in a great spot. I don't think that you can't really say that VP are out of it, but the later this game goes, definitely AM is going to take control. So I think that Complexity are...
Come on, Merlini, fight back.
I have to say, I agree with Merlini. I don't think AM is going to take control in that game because he's facing a Silences that's getting a Hex right now. He's facing a Shaker and a Lina. No, I'm serious. I think VP has way better late game, and I'm not being biased.
I'm just enjoying the fact that I can just light the touch paper and sit back and watch it all like burn. It's brilliant. You two, so you definitely think there's a way back for Virtus.Pro here?
More than a way back. I think they can easily win that game.
Yeah, it's similar to like the EG Complexity game 1 a little bit.
Yeah, exactly.
They have better late game.
They do?
You're smiling. Okay.
I'm smiling because I'm happy to.
Okay, so the defense for Complexity's lead rests over here between you two. Come on, bring it.
Okay, the fun ends here, Winter. We have Anti-Mage on our side. This game is going to be easy. Winter Wyvern is a great hero scaling into late game. I think they're going to take complete control of this game and just split push them with Brood and AM.
Winter Wyvern's useless versus global, though. Yeah, Silencer's not that far.
What if you don't even need to use it? You just defend.
I still think VP has a better late game. Just because, okay, it's really hard to deal with split push if you need to invest everything into killing the AM. But you know, Silencer with a Hex, Silencer and Shaker they kill AM on the Fisher. Hex Fisher is dead.
I definitely think that AM needs a BKB if they're going to team fight. That's for certain. I think everyone on the panel will agree. But of course, if they get the Hex on him and the jump on him, AM could definitely fall. But I just think Complexity is in the spot where they have to make a mistake to lose.
I have to say I disagree because I really feel like split pushing won't be that easy because they have, you know, the Naga alone can hold the side just by sleeping while they kill him on the other side. You have sometimes heroes where, you know, let's say you have a Dazzle instead of the Naga and then you need to invest the Silencer, Lina, Shaker to go kill that AM. Dazzle just watch the other take the racks. But I think that every hero on VP's side can actually deal with like aggression from Complexity.
Yeah, but what if they're just pushing with Chain Creeps and Brood Spiderlings?
Okay, we'll see how the game plays out.
All right, timeout, timeout. It was very good while it lasted, but we have got the game going. So let's head back to the commentary team.
Thank you very much. Yes, we are back live with the game after the players have re-entered their boxes, and it's Complexity trying to take out Roshan. And Virtus.Pro doing everything they can to stop it. Still slowing the Siren down, and everything they can is not enough. The Broodmother will pick up the Aegis Immortal, and we'll go back into our laning phase. I'm W1, I'm here with Cinderin, as we again start game number 2.
That Roshan went a lot faster than I thought it would. They were really quick to kill that.
Medallion, Desolator going to work.
Yeah,
and both of them coming from Broodmother.
It is, of course, really good. Did he even use Insatiable Hunger for that? I don't know. He must have used Insatiable Hunger for that. But it's a short cooldown. No.
He might have used it at the start.
Whatever Roshan is dead, let's not dwell on the past.
Yeah, let's move on.
Yeah, so they're going to counter ward this high ground ward here for, or rather the Roshan ward for Complexity. It's going to be removed by DK Phobos' gem, as well as a little bit of a tango play from FNG. But they're definitely going to be happy with getting this Aegis. And I think a good call to not put it on the Anti-Mage in this case. It feels like if the Anti-Mage gets caught, he gets caught split pushing and he'll probably just die twice. Whereas the Brood will maybe be a little more fight-centric with the build he has picked up in this game on, or she rather, but it is, of course, Moomiander playing it.
Split up the Spiderlings again. Split up the Spiderlings again. Split up the Spiderlings again. There we go.
It is super frustrating playing like that against a Darkseer. Like,
it's almost like you just need to have it like in a little box where you have like all your Spiderlings selected. Like he just has this little purple glow. It'll be able to help find that little Spiderling that's now just go and walk about. Back up the lane.
Indirect nerf to Darkseer.
That's what it's about. That's how we do our patches in Dota. It's all about the indirect nerfing. That wasn't the last word in the Broodmother.
Nope, it was on a Spiderling.
That was on a Spiderling. Meanwhile, Lina again. Okay, that's 2 for 2 for Lina versus Queen of Pain. As Illidan gets the solo kill on the Queen of Pain.
It's just too easy, right? Because the moment he gets the yours up,
they're going to him back in, and they've got double Iron Shell there. One actually, was it going to be enough damage? The Broodmother is still very tanky, and now with the extra hand of God, he comes back up. He's locked inside the wall, can't break free. There, Aegis Immortal will trigger, but Phobos also trapped around Spinelings. The Song of the Sun from FNG. They want to try and reset this quickly. They do find the Chen. Hand of God's up in 6 seconds time. If he can live long enough, they can't. Not with the Global Silence. Moomiander called out. Virtus.Pro, great team fight. He is just so low. They trigger the dust, keep the vision up, and he's down. The Mana Void jumping, not enough damage. Swindle though for the Yule Scepter Axe. He actually went for the ulti, and Illidan hits the ground. Now in comes the Anti-Mage, ripping apart the Silencer, back in, try and buy some time, but time is not on the side of Virtus.Pro. FNG on the run back out of here. The owner's taking him down. One more slice of the dice. That's gonna be it. Phobos will be able to run himself away to safety, finding himself a very lucky regeneration rune as well. But Complexity looked very rough of that fight until the end.
It was a pretty even outcome overall. Virtus.Pro force out the buyback of the Queen of Pain, who dies again. So all of Swindle's build-up toward that BKB is just lost. And that means, guess what? Nick can keep killing him when he finds him out alone.
That she can. But the Anti-Mage still kicked up.
They get a tier 2 though, so yeah.
They get the tier 2 tower. The Anti-Mage is able to find a couple. And he's also finished now the Mana Style. So his life is going to start to rise up a lot more. He's actually got dodge ability against Virtus.Pro.
I'm wondering what item build he's going to go for. I feel like just the standard anti-mage build could be troublesome here. The pure damage between Silencer and Lina could easily make work of him. So it's possible he has to either rely on the Lagoon ability being used first and then engaging, or that he has to go for something like a Heart first here, and then has to use the Manta to break global. There's a lot of problems, and it is actually very difficult for anti-mage to play in this kind of position because you can't use the Manta style as liberally as you would like to. Usually it's like, okay, I jump in, I use my Manta, I kill a hero. It can backfire so fast. You can get fissured right after it. Your illusions do nothing. There's the global silence that you can't break anymore. The Lina can find you, just blow you up. Not an easy AM game in my opinion right now.
Yeah, it's really tough, and he's going to rely on the rest of his teammates to do it. Maybe Swindle Melons, currently he's been soaking up the Lina's damage anyway. Maybe he could do that when the fight begins and let the Animage do what he did at the end of the fight, come in and just take all the kills. Let the rest of his team be the sponges against the Virtus.Pro's initiation, and then he can go to work.
Seeing right now, looks like Virtus.Pro are looking to push out the lanes as much as possible, but of course this is one of the issues that Silencer has, especially with his current item build. Doesn't really have any mobility, so can't really go out alone. That means Lil is kind of escorting him around between the lanes.
It's kind of weird though that
now they're going to go for a play.
It's kind of weird we're in this position because I know the panel were having a bit of a debate as well about who's really got the upper hand here. Is it going to be Virtus.Pro? Yeah, that's a good ward. Wait, they can actually prepare for this?
Oh, they might not
Swindle's
be
still
aware
in the hill. They put down the sentry wards, but already Illidan with the Yule Scepter over on the Chen. The Orchid comes in from Swindle. The global silence will buy some space, but the curse, it's on the Lina. So DK Verbals couldn't actually answer back with the back in. They get a little bit more space now. The Broodmother makes his way. The Mana Style dodging out of this, and Illidan so low. Song of the Siren again. VP. They try and reset this fight. Gets an upper hand. Flies back down again. And where is the attack? The Light Strike Array connects on the Animage. He's almost down. In fact, they will bring him down. Swindle being held up in the embrace. He will still actually be able to pop himself away with the blink. Actually, sent back all the way back to base by the Chen. But the rest of his team is not so lucky. God will take a triple kill. Virtus.Pro. Perfect reset, perfect take.
This is what their lineup can do. Both global counters out the curse beautifully there, and when Complexity feel like they're ahead in the fight, cluster up just a little bit and the song comes out. It's very easy for VP to land some key abilities there, and now even more control. Hex is a pretty good item against Anti-Mage.
Well, I was going to say before all that started, I was like going to ask the question, why is Complexity fighting right now? Like Winter was saying, he's like, come on, Broodmother just pushes one lane, the rest of them like they move around the map, the other lane's pressured. Virtus.Pro always split up. You never have these moments for team fights.
It sounds really easy on paper, but you're playing against Alina with Shadowblade Yule's Aghanim Scepter. If you're split pushing and one of your heroes gets caught, it's dead. Like maybe Anti-Mage can survive, but I'm not even sure about that one. Because he's probably going to have to try to Manta dodge the stun after the Yules, and if he does manage to do that, there's a global, and then maybe Lina can chase him down or needs backup of one hero, say the Shaker. And FNG is decent at holding towers with mirror images, and then of course you have the Darkseer who Brood can't solo, because Brood has an itemized to counter Darkseer. Brood has itemized to counter Roshan and towers, so DK Phobos can pretty reliably just run onto a lane and just push the Brood away all the time. Not afraid of Orchid, not afraid of, well, maybe if it's Quap plus the Brood. So,
but that defeats the purpose of what we're talking about.
Yeah,
we're talking about Brood adding pressure. Now Yule Scepter, it's going to go up and fly. Instantly jumps in, curses over on Lina. It drags a little back as well as the illusion from the wall of Anti-Mage. The Song of the Siren will find Fly. The Arctic Burn wears off, so at least Virtus.Pro will get the consolation prize off the kill. But then again, Chen tried, well, he was thinking about sending him back. Not going to work. But they get Fly for that. That was still a pretty hefty commitment from Virtus.Pro.
As long as they hold their tower and buy time.
Oh, going to kill him, Swindle. The Echo Slam and the stun. They're not in range. They can commit Global Silence if they need a little bit more time, and they don't. Silencer will take the kill over on Swindle, and Virtus.Pro, they have found their motion. They've found their rotations.
Their lineup is just so good for this phase of the game. It was really interesting for me to listen to the panel during the break, as it seemed like they were like 2-on-2 on who had the advantage here. And
yeah, Complexity so far ahead. They got the push. They can do this. And Virtus.Pro, we've got the team fight. We've got the movement.
It's very interesting for me because whenever there's disagreement like that, it obviously shows that the game is very complex and that you can read it in different ways. But right now, it's, that's not so complex. Make button, click hero, and it's dead.
Hilarious thing is, though, Illidan saw there was a sentry ward, but because Chen was up in the tree line, he didn't see Illidan coming. So Illidan walks around the corner, sees the Chen, and then just explodes him. Should also flag, too, that with that kill, the gold, for the first time, well, basically since the game began, has come back the way of Virtus.Pro. The experience is about to reach it as well. The VP, they've clawed their way back into this game, inch by inch. But at the same time, as we saw during game number 1, a victory in gold and experience means absolutely nothing in this series.
New smoke picked up here from Complexity. I'm not sure if they're planning to go fight again. I think at this point, you wait for the hardening before you go into the fight. He's actually pretty close. It's a very important item right now for him to be able to play with confidence in the fight. The scary part is, though, he's actually still pretty easy to kill with the heart, but at least he has a chance. I think without it, engaging aggressively for him is just going to get him killed very, very easily, but they can counterplay him with the heart, with the Hex of the Silencer now, a secondary Hex on the Darkseer. They have so much pure damage between the Silencer and the Lina to deal with him now. G and bottom though.
Yeah, they give it a crack, and they may just have enough. However, with that Hex and now Global Silence, Anti-Mage tries to break free, but the Song of the Siren from FNG is going to hold Complexity here. Dust, no way to get himself out with the clip. Gave the back into the wall with the Laguna Blade. Virtus.Pro showing just how much damage they've got. They will not only take the kills, but they'll slip in and see that Roshan's alive. They're going to get an Aegis to boot.
Someone has to go back and defend, though. I think this Broodmother and Queen of Pain could be too fast, but at the same time, they don't have any vision in the Dire base, so they could just be scared that there's a rotation coming already and that VP are prepared for it. So, well, never mind, they kill Roshan so fast with the Silencer and Lina. Lots of damage between the two.
And this game gets longer and longer. Complexity are going to get dumber and dumber. 24 points of intelligence stolen by Silencer. He's getting stronger and stronger. Even now the Solar Crest on FNG. The combos from Virtus.Pro are real, and Illidan on the hunt, chasing after Swindle, but instead he's gonna settle for a Chen.
He's gonna press R now.
No, doesn't even need R. In fact, the stun also hits on Swindle. He'll blink himself up. The Chen army is still in the neighborhood, so it can help out a little bit. In fact, it's just gonna be FNG farming that, and the TP away from Swindle after the blink away.
Playing up a couple of creeps as well. It's just, you know, I'm trying to remember the last time Complexity won a fight. Like, it just seems like if you look at the gold graph and you look at all the dots in the bottom, it's very, very, very Virtus.Pro centric right now. They've got like 10-2 over the last 20 minutes. It seems like Complexity have just slowed down so much. They can't really find anything.
They're not getting anything, and even the Spiderling army, like I just watched Moonmeter feed half of his Spiderlings to an Iron Shell, which is on a melee creep in the mid lane. It wasn't even being microed or anything. There's just issues coming in for Complexity where they're losing control of their mindset in this game. And Virtus.Pro is just picking it all up, and they're looking for more. Illidan's down on bottom lane. He's got Shadowblade off cooldown in 3 seconds time, so he'll have another look to see if he can find Swindle, who does not have a TP off cooldown. It's 15 seconds until he can use it. And you've also got Anti-Mage walking around in the trees. You've even got more. You've got Fly who's making his way in. They're throwing out the Slave, and this is just the point to get out of here. Virtus.Pro are hunting everywhere they possibly can.
Oh, they were really close to finding someone there.
We dug in deeper.
It's possible for Complexity to do some sort of crazy wraparound here, but they're not going to try for it. They realize it's too much waste of time. Zizzy needs to go and farm the top lane. We'll be blinking up there and cleaning this out. This is some very good gold for him coming in here. It should be a heart. A second.
He's taken a while to get there. Considering it's an Anti-Mage, it's taken a while. Swindle was looking for something on bot lane, couldn't find it. Meanwhile, Tier 2 tower is being removed by Virtus.Pro.
And worth noting, by the way, about Silencer is the intelligence he steals goes into base stats. So when he has double damage, he hits extremely hard right now. I do think it goes base stats, right? It looks like it. There's no plus.
I believe so. I believe you're correct.
I'm actually not 100% positive on this, but it looks like he has base 204 damage right now.
If you look for the logic of mechanics, then it's just going to be, okay, he's putting it directly into his intelligence, which means
obviously, yeah, it can't be plus damage. I'm a little stupid, just a little bit. It's okay.
It's fine, Sin. You get to make me look good then.
Don't fight.
It doesn't happen often. 2 minutes until the Jaeger's going to be reclaimed here by Virtus.Pro. By Roshan, I should say, from Virtus.Pro. So they still want to find an opening, and Illidan, man, these items just keep rolling in. A Lincoln Sphere in for the Lina. What's this really meant to block? Is this meant to block the Orchid? Is this meant to block something else?
Mana Void?
Okay, yeah, it could potentially block that.
It's pretty good against Mana.
Considering that's what killed him around Roshan before.
There are some really, really good spells to block, right? It either blocks the Orchid of Quap, or the Winter's Curse, or the Anti-Mage ult. The things they can break it with are Spawn Spiderlings, Test of Faith Penitence, but Chen will not get in that close most likely, and Shadow Strike, which will also not happen. So there's it's pretty much a guaranteed, very important block here from Illidan. So I like this pickup a lot in this case.
So much survivability. But at the same time now, he's sitting in a position where it's Silver Edge, and then he drops the gem, and he's basically maxed out at that point. But Virtus.Pro now grouping up together. Even got some extra BTs from Illidan. He bought those a while back, but joins the rest of his teammates up on top lane. The only one who's not there just yet is DK Phobos, but with this lineup the VP's got, with all their abilities up as well, including the ultimates, all they can do is just keep pushing. And this creep skipping, which is happening here from Moomiander, it's going to take too long. We've got observers and spiderlings trying to keep tabs and everything, but just look to tier 2 tower, you'll find out everything you need to know. Virtus.Pro is taking your buildings. They are ripping your home apart. Lil will defend the bottom lane against what was just a quick illusion push. But the towers are gone.
They trade 2 towers for 1 here, VP. I think they're pretty happy with that. Inevitably, they will be losing the tier 2s to Anti-Mage, so at least being able to force out a 2 for 1 there is definitely good enough. They're at a 10k goal lead all of a sudden. This graph is only going one way right now.
Are we at the point where we ask the question, like, how does VP now go up against Complexity? Like, do they just take the high ground? Phobos, if you vac now, you got a lot of money. He doesn't know it, of course. He doesn't see him.
He was looking for the bigger kill.
Trying to find that mother.
Illidan has a gem. If he might walk in on him here.
Stuns. He doesn't know. It's ships in the night.
He's like found the only little. This is like the protected circle.
He at least got the observer ward. So Moomiander going to TP himself out. There's no vac, there's no stuns, there's nothing. He's actually away. On bottom lane, Lil's still solo defending against these anti-mage illusions. I think Complexity have had enough of this. They bring in Swindle, they bring in Fly, and Fly triggers the Arctic Burn. At least sees up a little bit further. But Lil's back a long, long way. God, now he's farming up. You got the Broodmother right behind him. Fresh BKB also arrived. And God, there's your Orchid. They start him in Sonic Wave. They really want to kill him. The silence of the BKBs allows Swindle and Moomiander to keep on fighting. And FNG song of the Siren, not enough control. Meanwhile, East, they've managed to find the kill over on the Winter Wyvern. Illidan going to go to work. The vac back in and go to a double wall. Phobos sticking in front, body blocking up Moomiander. They see him perfectly. He's going to die as a pig right now inside of the Dire jungle. And even more, the anti-mage is brought down. They combo with God, who bored back into the fight, but well worth it. 2 cores and a support down for Complexity. And now they push.
Yeah, if Complexity don't buy back here, I think they're going to lose the lane. 70 seconds on Anti-Mage is more than enough, and they simply can't fight without him, I think.
And there's no Aghanims on a corpse, you're not just getting a Sonic Wave clearance early on.
Nope. Anti-Mage needs to, or rather Silencer needs to be a little bit careful though. He did of course buy back in that fight, so if he dies again, it's a problem. Speaking of him, he's closing in on a refresher orb here, so he can refresh both Atos, Scythe of Ice, and of course most importantly his ultimate.
Swindle's got a TP back right now. He still needs to, actually got to go all the way back to Fountain 2, because he needs to regenerate before he fights. And the buyback from the anti-mage Virtus.Pro, are they just happy with this?
Yeah, this is very, very good for them. There's no point in risking it. If their Silencer dies here, they're in a lot of trouble. They get a tier 3 and a buyback. You know, Anti-Mage could have bought back earlier and maybe they don't even get the tower, but they're like, fine. Wow, we got the tower as well? Great, let's go back.
Get an easy tier 3 tower. The smoke movement, I was actually waiting for them to pull out the Rocks Kiss. Like, the out then back in again. The Complexity didn't chase, and they just run away. In fact, now Complexity's Observer Ward's going to scalp this out. They got one very deep inside the Dire jungle, and they'll smoke up themselves. This is one of the very few opportunities they're going to have where they can see where VP is. Because the gem is over on Virtus.Pro, they keep losing these wards so early on. And maybe they can find a big pickoff, and Illidan would be a huge pickoff at this point.
Yep.
So they see one, they see two.
This could get counterplayed pretty soon, though.
Lincoln, and they trigger the Lincoln Spear, going directly into the Curse, and that's going to be Lina dead. You'll Scepter up, no Blink Dagger, but has a Shadow Blade, running himself away. They don't see him in the Song of the Siren from FNG! He stops the attack! They've even got themselves a double ultimate from Silencer in 6 seconds time. The refresh orb's completed, but what a save from the captain of Virtus.Pro.
And Complexity have to get back to defend mid. It's not just a save from the captain, it's a save from Illidan himself. He did a beautiful self-Yules there and managed to Shadow Blade. And honestly, I think Z3 was just a little bit too slow there. He had a Sentry in his inventory. I think he was too slow to switch it over during the Yules and drop it, because the Song came in after Lina had run for a second. That could have been a kill for Complexity, and they're going to be pretty disappointed with that. That was a big commitment, and all they got was a Song. Even the ward they placed is just going to get removed with one attack from G here.
And Complexity, it's the worst position they could have asked to be in. You're now looking at a point where the Anti-Mage is desperately trying to scramble for farm, but these fights keep happening, and Virtus.Pro keep getting stronger and stronger as time goes on. And going through a double global silence of God.
Complexity are not going to win this super late game. I just don't see it happening, and it's pretty interesting to look at how Anti-Mage works as a hero, where he farms pretty much faster than anyone, and he gets 6 slotted very quickly, and as a result of that, he's one of the best carries in the game. But at the same time, at minute like 80 or 70, he's not one of the weaker carries in the game, but he's definitely not one of the stronger ones either. And you've got a Silencer who has the potential to scale like almost indefinitely with the intelligence steal. Double ultimate, of course, counters the entire enemy team more or less.
You'd hate to see
Darkseer to counter the enemy team with a wall. He scales very well into late game too. Lina is a little bit so-so, I think, but with the right item build as well, it's just VP just have so many tools to deal with Complexity, and they have a Chen with Guardian Greaves only minute 47, so he's definitely not going to be doing much anymore. He did his job early. They didn't win though, and that means their other support, Fly on the Wyvern, has to do so much work. But that's the other thing about Virtus.Pro's lineup. They actually won't be killing each other that fast with the Curse, but they'll be killing the enemy team very fast with the Glaives and, of course, the Laguna Blade.
So the base attacks just don't do enough, and well, then Complexity find themselves in a situation. So the Curse isn't doing enough. You can lock down one hero. Can you just pop him straight away? Is this when you start to see Anti-Mage build into something more like do you get him into the Abyssal Blade? Do you try and find lockdown control that way? Make him a killer, not a survivor?
I think they've got to. On the other hand, Butterfly is really good in this game because the Dire team don't want to get MKBs. Both Silencer and Lina would prefer to get other items, so he can at least force them into getting that.
Complexity.
It's not like it's a bad idol.
They're coming in right now. Virtus.Pro, they get the initial stun, and there's your Song of the Siren, catching almost all of them. In fact, it actually isolates the Anti-Mage, and Phobos, he really wants to find this kill. Global Silence, that's number 1. There's a number 2, and there she goes. Anti-Mage just can't walk away. Even the 3 Hexes and Laguna Blade, they bring him down. 105 seconds of the Silence, the Sonic Wave. Minimal effectiveness, and Illidan a double stun, and back in again for the Earthshaker. He's able to find his double stun. The Curse is down, but again, we talked about this. There's just not enough damage coming from it. The Slave kills up Chen. He was trying to TP himself away to safety inside the pit, unable to do so. And now Virtus.Pro, even with the stun on Swindle, he'll be able to get himself away, but they will claim yet another Roshan hero against Complexity. And what a fight. No Anti-Mage for 75 seconds. They can actually take this Aegis and just run down mid.
I was surprised how long it took them to kill the Anti-Mage. But they were in a pretty awkward position where only one or two heroes could hit him at a time. If he gets isolated in a different way where VP are all on top of him, he will blow up really quickly. But nice play from VP to catch the other heroes out with a Song and go for the M. I think there was an alternative there. There were actually 3 of the Call heroes lined up. They could have tried to go for all of those with an Echo instead. I think that would have been great too. But regardless, end of the day, the important thing is they find the kills, they find Roche, and this is definitely 1 lane Rax, maybe 2.
Yeah, they're even getting the momentum on the bottom. Naga sent the illusions down there, and then jump in. Phobos backing back Swindle. They got the Hex off with a follow-up stun. It's just buying space to ensure the Rax is taken here by Virtus.Pro. Still 30 seconds until Anti-Mage returns. And they might give him the respect, but then again, when you get a Yule Scepter like this, over on Mumianda, Laguna Blade, they're trying to send them back. Chen's going to do the work, however. And that's the callback. But Rax still goes the way of Virtus.Pro. 13 seconds till Anti-Mage.
Yeah, I think they should back out now. They don't have either of their 2 globals. AM is back in a moment. They don't have Echo Slime. Oh, they actually have it now. Laguna played 30-second cooldown as well. It might just be worth waiting a little bit here for VP, but it looks like they mean business.
Yeah, they want to try and push this. This could be a disaster, or it could be the game-winning move. As Moon Meander triggers the Lincoln Sphere of Illidan, and then Wyvern trying to blink in. Actually got Yule Scepter up instantly by Illidan, the Song of the Siren from FNG. They isolate the Broodmother, the BKB, he did it himself. That's why they can keep attacking him right now, and the damage is enough to kill him off before the Song of the Siren with the back in the wall with the Echo Slam. Virtus.Pro perfectly on target. They'll go through 4, they'll almost go through 5, but they'll get the GG. They pull it back and force into a third game, wiping Complexity out. Virtus.Pro keeping the hopes of CIS alive. And they really needed that. We were really worried they would go full tilt here in game number 2 after what happened in game 1. Having the game, losing the game, having the game again, losing the game again. And now they're able to hold the grip on it. And they take game 2.
It looks like going into game 3, your strategy just needs to be lose